CLG.NA qualifiers #1. So even if you do get knocked out of this one, you still got 3 more tournaments to give you to have a nice little shot at making your way and qualifying for the big show.
Yeah, and right off the bat, we do see there is a clairvoyance on Chowster here. We have the heal on Vayne, so no exhaust in that bottom lane, no exhaust in the team at all, actually. And so Graves and Nocturne could be a concern there. But the big thing is that that's not going for a lot of kill potential. They mostly just want to sit back and farm. They know that they have such a strong late game that they don't really have to worry about it. And then if they can, pick up that farm for the late game, then they can obviously take control with Vayne very easily. One of his, best champions, obviously. But the CV will allow them to keep track of Nocturne, which is going to be huge to not allow them to get an early advantage. And both supports actually picking up a pink ward for that bottom bush. They're both gonna have to hold on to it for a second, and we'll see who's first to drop to get that bush control.
Yeah, see, when you usually see a support grab a pink ward, you see that, okay, we want to be aggressive, we want to shut down the enemy vision, and we want to make sure that we can do things like camp in a bush, or make sure we have the river clear for available ganks. So it's all really gonna be timed on, when do I want to drop the pink ward? Do I want to drop it just so I can get rid of an enemy ward? Do I want to drop it at an appropriate time so I can clear a ward and keep another area warded as well? There's a lot of strategy involved, and if you see, just for example, if we see CLG pushing up really far and pushing Rosewill 2 tower, they may just want Rosewill might just want to hold on to it, because they're really not going to gain a whole lot by pink warding their closest bush and removing the ward that may be there, because you already know they're there. You already know they're in the bush. They're not going to be really moving very far. So we'll see how that comes into play. But we see all of Rosewill just staying in a line, waiting in the one bush. It's like elementary school waiting for lunch. They're sitting there waiting for CLG to come by, but they're not. They're just there. We got the point defense, and we got Hotshot up top lane putting down a boatload of traps, just in anticipation of future ganks, and just go back, get some mana, come back up just in time for the minion wave.
Yeah, so he's got some nice control over his lane, and we saw Lux earlier dropping the ward over by their red. They don't want to have any invasion by CLG. If it happens, then they would have been well aware, but so that helps them protect them early on, but now it's not really going to be as significant, because Lee Sin really is not going to be invading against Nocturne. So, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, but it does keep them safe at early levels, and they definitely don't want to give an early advantage. And we'll have to see. Both junglers starting with blue, so we probably won't see a really early gank from either of them. They're both just going to kind of control the jungle a little bit and then look for opportunities later.
Right. Bot lane, we got Lux and Graves versus Vayne and Janna. So Vayne, she is relatively short range. She can get very squishy, but we do have the shield from Janna. If well timed enough from Chowster, we should be protecting from quite a bit of damage. Lux has her own shield as well, but it's not an instant thing. We have to wait for a projectile to actually get over to our AD carry, protects him, we put the shield on him. So we have to do a nice little predictive game with these supports. It's like, all right, are we going into a dangerous situation? Are we going to require a shield? Are you getting hurt? What are we going to happen here?
Yeah, and Lee Sin already picking up the double buff, slightly ahead of Nocturne right now, and his wraiths are up, so I guess he actually just skipped the wraiths to try and get that fast level 3, and he is coming down to this bottom lane. Lux still only level 1, but he will be able to get up into this first bush. He probably won't be able to get into the second one, but John Reinhold, way out of position, does have to use the flash, so Saint not able to hit the Q there. But they will be safe, but the flash is burned in that bot lane.
See, now this is a situation where I was talking about the pink wards. Now we know we're going to be pushed. Do we want to put the ward down there just to make sure that we have a little bit of an eye on CLG? It does not look we're going to be using it. So we're just going to see if we can't try and take the lane back. And you also see Chowster now getting a ward in the river, just so we can be protected from future ganks. So if Livingston wants to come around and gank his Nocturne, he's got to go the long way from behind through the tri-bush.
Yeah, and like you said, with that pink ward right off the bat, Lux throwing it down in that bottom bush, so Chowster would have seen that. He knows he can drop his own when he desires, or he can hold on to it if he likes, but he will have some nice control there. The zone from Reinhold doing a nice job on double lift to kind of throw him out of position there. And so far, Hotshot's doing some nice job harassing Shen, but really not an issue. Shen can just sit, wait for the creeps to come back to his tower, and he will be able to farm safely under there.
Okay, double lift continuing with a little bit of the aggression, so we have pretty much skills purchased across the board. Now we do have the true damage available to us if we so desire. The silver bolts On the third hit, we do get some true damage bonus stacked onto whoever we hit in succession. And we also see that mid, Big Fat is actually pushing down Anivia pretty rough. It's a 23-25. Farm is still even, but we see Anivia forced to be farming at that tower.
Yeah, and so far, Double Lift and Chouster, they have good control over this lane. Nocturne coming down, giving a little peek there, so they did see him. Yeah. They are going to be safe in this lane. They already have the ward over in the river. Judge Reinhold trying to get control of this bush, but he's definitely out of position. There's actually the stun from Chouster, the whirlwind, and the quick first blood. Double Lift exhausted there, but they are going to be fine.
Trying to be a little bit too aggressive, but that's the thing. Playing against the Vayne, you have to be very conscious of your positioning, very much like you're playing against the Blitzcrank. Vayne or Alistar or Vayne plus Alistar, you cannot be pinned up against the wall. You will be stunned. You will get wrecked. That's what happens. First blood.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, Chouster actually dropping the ward while that fight's going on so that they know they still have the vision over Lux, that they can kill her underneath that bush there. But yeah, that's going to be really tough to come back from. They have a lot of control. We have kind of a kill lane with Graves and Lux. And just the fact that the harass is so much stronger from Vayne and Janna, if you give them an early advantage, then very quickly they could roll with it.
Yeah, Vayne is not an AD carry you want to be giving really any free gold to. Vayne, she's going to go back to town. She's going to start stacking Dorans, extra health, extra lifesteal. We got 2 of them and a Vamp Scepter, so that's going to be built into a Bloodthirster later on. So just a nice little precursor of things to come. It also looks like Lee Sin, he's starting up onto his Madrids. He should be getting a Wriggles in the near future. And Nivea looking to build towards a Catalyst, which you should see into a Rod of Ages later on. And Nocturne living. Whoa, we actually got Ari getting a little bit too far out there. Tried to place a ward in the river. Livingston is here. He gets the fear off, but just decides let's just let Ari go. Let's just let her go.
Yeah, it's just some unfortunate timing. They could maybe get a ward up by the race. Nocturne coming down to try and steal this race. They aren't up at the time. So, you know, CLG is just very comfortable with sitting back and farming and controlling the lanes. Now, I'm kind of curious, again, you know, we're very close to that 7:15 mark when those blues are going to respawn, and whether or not we'll see Ari and Lee Sin with any aggression towards that blue. And right now, Anivia is fine. She's keeping herself high health and mana. She knows if I get low, then that's going to result in a lost blue for me. So I can't allow that to happen against Ari. If she can force me out of lane, then very quickly we're going to fall behind.
And Shen is just... Ispar is just trying to recall or just baiting out a few free shots. It's like, I'm just going to recall in front of you. Go ahead, hit me. And Hotshot is more than gladly to oblige. So I think it's just kind of like a little bit of a toying match here. We did have a CV go down over on to Rosewill's blue. They know it's there. They know it hasn't been taken yet, and they know that we may actually see an attempt on it soon. We did have a ward in the river from Big Fat earlier, but I'm not sure if it's going to be. We're going to have a vision around the corner. I'm pretty sure we're not going to have a vision around the corner to see when TMS is going around to it. But you know, his absence in lane should be more than enough to tell that tale.
And the big thing is all the lanes kind of want to just sit defensively right now, because if bot lane or mid lane loses any sort of quick advantage, then very quickly that could result in a lost blue for Anivia. But she is going to be fine. In the meantime, Big Fat just going to be pushing up to this tower. He knows, all right, Anivia is going to blue. Let me deny some of this experience and get a quick level advantage there.
And we had vision on TMS actually going on over to the blue, and the blue's actually resetting now. How unfortunate. So now we need to just start all over again, and that's actually giving more time. If CLG were to engage on this and try and steal or get a kill off this, it would have given him more time. But Ari is actually instead taking the initiative. We're going up towards the red, placing a ward, and you know what? Aspara is actually way too far pushed out. Do we have the ult up? We do have the ult up on Big Fat, so this could be a very bad situation. We got the Foxfire, we had the Orb, and Shen's actually going to be able to get away from that one.
Yeah, nice time taunt to be able to prevent the charm from Ari from going off and then real quick get past there. I think, you know, I thought that he might still be in range by the time the taunt was over, so I was a little bit surprised there. But they're able to get that advantage. And now Lee Sin and Janna here are going to be taking this dragon. So, you know, even though CLG doesn't really usually like pursuing it, it really comes down to the situation. Right now is a good situation for them. They have plenty of control with the mid-reds, and then, of course, Janna can give the shield so they don't have to worry about it. Livingston up here going for his red is not going to be able to defend this at all, so the free dragon for some free gold.
We got the shield on Janna and the shield on Lee Sin. Those two combined have enough damage reduction for Lee Sin to actually be able to grab that early dragon. Plus, he has a Madrids for the extra damage we need. If we did not have any like similar set, like most other junglers without protection or sustain like that would not be able to do a dragon that low with only help from your support. So we have Lee Sin, he is available to us. We have Janna, extra, some damage reduction with the shield and some bonus AD. We're able to take it out no problem.
And it's really interesting, like you said earlier, Lux, because Vayne is such short range, she has to run pretty far forward. Lux can, instead of zoning her with the